People always come into my stream and ask me, how do I always have so many green stims, blue stims available to me? And today I'm going to teach you the route that I take more than 5 times a day to make sure that I have all the materials required to craft all of these items all the time. There are 2 main routes I take. I'm going to show you one and explain the other one because again, it's very simple. You have to include one more thing. Shout out to these guys for commenting on one of my last videos. Thank you for all the support. Keep liking, keep sharing, keep subscribing, and let's go. So for the meds, there are 2 real ways of obtaining these medical supplies. One way is by going to Osiris. You have to complete some missions. Once you complete the certain missions, you'll go to the Osiris market and you'll go under consumables. And there are some consumables you will get. Here, I don't have strong medkits unlocked. I don't have combat medkits unlocked, and I don't have combat stims unlocked because I didn't finish those quests yet. I did finish the strong stims quest, and I can now buy 5 strong stims for 3,000 K marks. That's not that good of a deal. I'm going to show you how to get a really good deal. So if we go over to the gear printer, this is where the magic happens. Here we go to consumables, and we have a great variety of items that we want. Again, as we saw before, these were all locked, but now we have every single one. You want to make sure to always carry these meds instead of the white meds, because I know a ton of you guys are just going over to the buy station and buying white meds, and you shouldn't be doing that, especially with how cheap these are. So for the strong medkit, the green medkit, you need 300 K marks, 1 medical supply, and 2 bright cap mushrooms. Again, very easy. I'll show you the route. For the strong stims, the green stims, 300 K marks, 1 old medicine, 1 bright cap mushroom, and 1 water weed filament. For the combat medkit or the blue medkit, you need 460 K marks, 2 medical supplies, 3 water weed filaments, and 1 pale ivy blossom. And for the combat stims, the blue stims, you need 460 K marks, 2 old medicine, 2 water weed filaments, and 1 pale ivy blossom. So for every single medical supply, there's really only 4 items you need, which includes of old medicine, water weed filaments, pale ivy blossom, and of course bright cap mushrooms. These are super cheap, super easy to make, and I'm going to show you my route that I take to get all of the medic supplies required each and every day. Again, it is RNG, so you kind of have to get lucky with if people looted there before, if it's spawned correctly. There's a lot of different things, but this gives you the best chance to always have the best medical supplies in your backpack. So today we're going to talk about 2 different paths. I'm going to show you one of them, but I'm going to show you what you can include in your other path. It all requires on where your evacs are and where you spawn. So as we see here, I spawned right by rock pools and comms tower. This is a pretty decent spawn for 2 different reasons. You have 2 different routes you can really take because we have an evac point at base camp. The route we're gonna take is as simple as this. We spawn here, we make our way to rock pools, and here we can get water weed filaments and we can get bright cap mushrooms. These are super important because those are 2 of the main ingredients you're gonna need in all of the medical supplies. So after we loot up this area, we're gonna go around all the way around to vaccine labs. You can go again any way you want, but next we're going to vaccine labs. Here you can get lots of old medicine. There's lots of opportunities to even get green stims, green med kits, blue stims just laying all over the ground. So it's a really good spot for that as well. So there we get old medicine, and then we make our way to Waterfall Lab. And Waterfall Lab is where we're going to really have the greatest chance to get those medical supplies. You can find them at vaccine as well, but I have found much more luck going to Waterfall Labs and finding them there. So that's the route I'm really going to take. In that route, we hit everything. We get all of the supplies besides pale ivy blossoms, and that's where the second route comes in. Again, you have a chance of finding pale ivy blossoms all over. There's that overgrown type of leaves. You can find those overgrown type of leaves over here in Lake. You can find a lot more in the jungle area. That's where I would recommend you go for these pale ivy blossoms. And again, that second route that I was going to talk about is you could go from your spawn and go all the way through jungle, loot that, look for pale ivy blossoms. You can also find bright cap mushrooms there. Then you can go to dig site. I have found some pale ivy blossoms because there are some overgrown areas there. And then you could hit the route backwards, so then hit waterfall and hit vaccine. Then you could evac at base camp. So again, these are the main points to hit if you're going to look for all of these items, especially jungle for those pale ivy blossoms. So going through that first route, we do hit rock pools, which is a really good spot for water weed filaments. Again, these are in abundance, but a lot of people just don't pick them up or forget to. So you're going to want to get as many water weed filaments as possible. And also what you're going to find here are those mushrooms. As we see in the distance here, there are mushrooms right here in the distance, and those are crucial to all of these supplies that you're gonna need. These medical supplies need a lot of bright cap mushrooms, and you need a lot of water weed filaments. It's good to have an abundance of these in your inventory. That usually take 10 stims and 1 medkit into a raid, and if I die right away, then it's all gone. But since all the items are fairly easy to find, you can craft a good amount of all the stims. And now when you go to vaccine, this is where you're gonna wanna loot up, and this is where you're gonna find lots of stims, like actual stim shots that don't need to be crafted. There's one loot room that you really need to make sure you go to, and this is located in one of the upper buildings. There's going to be a key here that you need to open it, and it's called the Bright Sands Man's Observation Room Key. This is a pretty easy key to find. There's looking briefcases, looking other luggage, and you have a great chance to find it, especially in jackets. And once we open up this door, you're going to see what's available to us. As we can see right away, there's already one container full of meds. There's med kits, stuff like that. There's medical containers all over. As you see, there's some stims. We got some money. There's some more old medicine here, which is really, really important. You get some poly, which is good for some other crafts. But I'm telling you, you get a lot of stims, a lot of old medicine, which is crucial in your path to getting as many stims as possible. And now, when you make it to Lake, this is what I was talking about. These trees right here have these leaves on them, and I was running around checking all of the leaves, seeing if there were any pale ivy blossom spawns. You can find them. They're fairly rare in this area since there's not too many of these leaves, but you can find them, so take a peek around. And when you're peeking for the pale ivy blossoms, you're also looking for the water weed filaments, so that's very, very important. So once you check out the lake, you can go explore the actual lab area. There's lots of medical containers here, and you have the chance of finding medical supplies. I was unlucky as this whole place had been looted already, and I really had no loot left for me, but that's why I do multiple runs a day, because one run a day isn't going to cut it. Maybe you'll find a lot of mushrooms one run, but then you won't find any water weed filaments somehow. That's why you need to do a lot of runs per day, just to make sure you have enough to hold yourself for as many sessions as you want. I'm also a hoarder on this game, so I love to have a lot of supplies, because maybe if I stack up on a certain thing, I can just be ready for whatever's to come. I hate selling stuff, then I sell something that I need in the next moment, and that's not smart. I keep as much as I can at all times. But once I'm done looting around, I go, I evac, and then I do the route again. You can hit the jungle run route if you want. Let's go over what I got in that simple run. Again, Waterfall Lab was looted there. Vaccine was fairly looted, and this is what I came out with. I came out with 2 bright cap mushrooms, which isn't bad for what I found, 6 waterweed filaments, which is pretty good, and 3 old medicine. Again, the longer you stay, the more you look. Obviously, the more you'll find. I came out with also 1 blue stim, which is pretty cool because those are some of the higher rarity meds. But again, meds are super crucial, and you have to stop using the white ones. I know this was a super quick video, but I needed to get this point out because I always see people just using white stims and going to the buy station and buying white stims. You have to focus on getting these better meds because they can make the difference in a fight. If you want any evidence of that, go watch my PvP guide, which I just uploaded in the recent days. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and maybe I'll see you in the next one at Booth.